chant ले लें. वंदे गणपति विघ्न विनाशं हे लंबोदर गजानना.
वंदे गणपति विघ्न विनाशं हे लंबोदर गजानना.
गजानना
जय जय गणपति गजानना
जय लंबोदर गजानना
जय लंबोदर गजानना
जय जय गणपति गजानना गजानना
जय जय गणपति गजानना
जय लंबोदर गजानना
जय लंबोदर गजानना
जय जय गणपति गजानना
जय जय गणपति गजानना
जय लंबोदर गजानना
जय लंबोदर गजानना
जय जय गणपति गजानना
जय जय गणपति गजानना
जय लंबोदर 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 गजानना।
गजानन स्वामी महाराज की जय। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेवाय नमः। जय अम्बे मातु भवानी जय अम्बे
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 दुर्गति हारिणी जय अम्बे
गति हारिणी जय अम्बे
आप विमोचनी जय अम्बे
आप विमोचनी जय अम्बे
दुर्गति हारिणी जय अम्बे
दुर्गति हारिणी जय अम्बे
पाप विमोचनी जय अम्बे
पाप विमोचनी जय अम्बे
जय अम्बे मातु भवानी जय अम्बे
जय अम्बे मातु भवानी जय अम्बे
जगदुद्धारिणी जय अम्बे
जगदुद्धारिणी जय अम्बे
लोक संहारिणी जय अम्बे
लोक संहारिणी जय अम्बे
जगदुद्धारिणी जय अम्बे
जगदुद्धारिणी जय अम्बे
लोक संहारिणी जय अम्बे
लोक संहारिणी जय अम्बे
जय अम्बे मातु भवानी 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 जय अम्बे
जगदम्बा माता की जय. Okay, so let me welcome all of you to this first night of this 6 nights of Yajna. And like they said, we are going to be doing Devi Mahatmyam. And I think this might be first. But first I am doing. I don't know if anybody has done here. So let me tell you a little bit about Devi Mahatmyam. You know that we have so many different Puranas are there, right? So one of that Purana is called as Markandeya Purana. Markandeya Purana, you must have heard that name. So this Devi Mahatmyam comes from that Markandeya Purana. This Devi Mahatmyam and Bhagavad Gita, they have few things in common. Devi Mahatmyam has 700 verses and Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. And Bhagavad Gita comes from a bigger text, which is Mahabharata. And the Devi Mahatmyam also comes from a bigger text, which is called as Markandeya Purana. Markandeya is the great Markandeya, you know, whose father had done tapas to get a son. You know that story of Markandeya. That Markandeya we are talking about. That place where he got mukti is still there near Varanasi, near Banaras. If you go, you just take a little trip outside there. You can go to that. He was the one who held on to that Shiva Lingam, chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, when Yamaraj came at 16 years old. And because he was holding on to that Shiva Lingam, even Yamaraj could not touch him. Because he was supposed to die at 16. And so he was blessed by Bhagwan Shiva and got mukti there. So that place is still there outside. So that Markandeya, just outside Banaras, you can go and visit that place. This Purana is named after this Markandeya. It's called Markandeya Purana. His father's name was Mrikandu. At one place I had gone. And I said like this. His father's name was Mrikandu. Somebody asked me, what was his mother's name? I said, Mrs. Mrikandu. How easy is it? Anyway, so he is the one who is now giving the whole Devi Mahatmya. He's the one it is from his lips it is coming out. And it is divided, well, this difference is there. Bhagavad Gita 700 verses divided into 18 chapters. This Devi Mahatmya is 700 verses divided into 13 chapters. So some of the chapters are long, like that. And it is written in very simple Sanskrit, just like Bhagavad Gita. So that's common also. Simple Sanskrit, not the complex type of Sanskrit. And it has two other names. So many of you may know it as Devi Mahatmyam. One other name is Durga Saptashati. You all may have heard that name. Same text we are talking about. Like Varanasi has three names. Varanasi is called as Varanasi. Varanasi is called as Kashi. And Varanasi is also called as Banaras. So here this Devi Mahatmyam also has three names like that. The last name is called as Chandi. Chandi Pat, some people say. Chandi. So three names, Devi Mahatmyam, the Durga Saptashati, and Chandi. Yeah. If you hear these names, they're talking about the same thing. Otherwise, you think, wow, three different texts. Not three different texts. Right. So it is really speaking about the glories of the Devi in the Mahatmyam. And the most popular form of the Devi is Durga Devi. And she is the one who removes all the various Rakshasas and all that kind of thing. So we'll see the deep symbolism in these coming days of the removal of all these various, they call us Asuras. We'll see them as we go along. But the introduction of this Devi Mahatmyam is very interesting. It is all about Vedanta. And I wanted to see that introduction today. Devi Mahatmyam introduction. All right. So it starts. Now, you may not be having that text in front of you. So I will just chant some, and I will chant some chorus also so that all of you can join. Okay. Now let me tell you how it starts like this. It's a simple chorus. See? Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jayambe 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 Jagadambe.
Swarochi Shetare Puram.
Jayambe Jagadambe.
Chaitra Vamsha Samudbhavaha.
Jayambe Jagadambe.
Suratho Nama Raja Bhoot.
Jayambe Jagadambe.
Namaste Kshiti Mandale.
Jayambe Jagadambe.
Jayambe Jagadambe.
Jayambe Jagadambe.
Jagadamba Mata ki jai. Okay, so it says Swarochishe Antare Purvam Chaitra Vamsha Samudbhavaha Suratha Nama Raja. This is sentence. A Raja by name of Suratha. It's very interesting how it starts also. Suratha, just like Dasharatha. So he's Dasharatha and he's Suratha, like that. Dasharatha means one who has control his 10 sense organs. He's mastered his 10 sense organs, like that. Or 10 indriyas, right? Suratha means one who is, this whole antakarana and this whole body and everything in the Kathopanishad is described as a chariot. You know that, huh? Our whole apparatus here is described as a chariot. So Suratha, Ratha means chariot. Suratha means one who is a master of this whole chariot, like that. So this king was there. His name was Suratha. Then it says here, Swarochishe Antare. This happened now in a very long time. I don't know if you know about how time is measured in Sanatana Dharma. It is not like this linear time which we know here, you know. See, in one night of Brahmaji, one day of Brahmaji, when Brahmaji is waking in the daytime, right? His time is like that. There are 14 manvantaras. And one manvantara lives like 4.32 million years or something for a long time. And 14 of them live. And Brahmaji has only one day of his. And Brahmaji lives 100 years. But anyway, this story, which Markandeya Rishi is teaching, he says it happened in the second Manvantara. And we are in number 7 Manvantara now. Vaivaswata Manvantara we are right now. You must be hearing this when they do puja in the beginning, they chant all that, what do you call, Sankalpa. And they say Vaivaswata Mantare, like that. So we are in the 7th, and still 7 to go. And then one day of Brahmaji will be over. So this happened in the second. So this is what this story. Now see, we say, but this Purana is just recent. This Purana happened recently only. How come he'll be talking about another Manvantara and all? Well, we were talking about this previously. In this world, please remember, and this is the important point about time in Sanatana Dharma. In this world, nothing is created, nor nothing is destroyed. In this universe, nothing is created nor destroyed. Everything is there. There are no new things coming or things going out. All things are there. So in other words, if we want and we have found out the technology, we can go into this universe and find out anything. And now science is coming very, very close to proving all of this. Nothing is created, nothing new comes into being, or nothing goes out of being. All things are there. And actually, if you study a little bit of the nature of Ishvara, you will also know. This is proven logically also. By some rational thinking, you will come to understand. But look here. If some new thing is created, it means to say that thing was not there before, right? Think along. That thing was not there before. And if it has to come into being, then Ishvara has to think it up. Right? So if Ishvara thinks up a new thing, it means that there was something which Ishvara had not thought about before. So if we say that, oh, there was something which Ishvara has not thought about before, then something is defective in Ishvara's thinking also. Isn't it? He himself had never thought about this. Oh. Then we say, my God, if Ishvara has not thought about this before, then there are so many things which he has not thought about. There could be so many things which he has not thought about. That means to say that Ishvara also has some defect in his thinking. Because there's so many things for him yet to think. So logically also, when we think about the nature of Ishvara, we realize that this universe is constant. Nothing comes or nothing goes. It may change form and go into unmanifest and come back manifest. Like the ocean, the amount of water doesn't increase or decrease. It just keeps changing. That is all. In fact, science will tell you also the amount of water on this earth doesn't increase or decrease by even one H2O molecule. Where it will go? It's constant. Just changing like that. You see? So also this whole universe. Anyway, so now this thing which happened in that Manvantara, in that period, epoch, whatever you want to call, that thing happened there and it doesn't get lost. It is there. It is as though all the things are there in the universe and we are just passing and seeing things like that. And the things are there. We are just passing along. We are seeing them. So the rishis can very well go back. Like Tulsi Das ji can go back into one era when Bhagwan Ram was there and write the whole story. Like that. So the rishis have that. They call it Trikala Darshi. That is why they call us Trikala Darshi. They can see past, present and future. So Markandeya Rishi is telling this story which happened at that time. And the story now starts with this Suratha. And it says Suratha Nama Raja Abhut Samaste Khiti Mandale. And he was a great king who ruled the whole earth as though. Means rule vast amount of the earth. Okay. Now what happened to this Raja? In number 8 it will tell. Wonderful little lessons are there. I don't think we'll get to the Devi today, this is just introduction. Jai Ambe Jagadambe
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 Amatya Balabir Krishtai
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Durbalasya Duratmabhihi
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Kosho Balam Chapahritam
Jai Ambe जगदम्बे
तत्रापि स्वपुरे ततः
जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
जगदम्बे
जय अम्बे
जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
Jagadamba Mata ki jai. The king was there, and he, well, even though this happened in a different era, like where in the Manvantara, it's happened in second Manvantara, it's such a long time. And this is the history of human civilization. What this king went and attacked another kingdom. That is what people are doing from. Actually, when we see these things in Shastra, then we should start thinking. Because people all the time ask, Swamiji, will wars stop one day? Will human beings stop fighting one day? The answer is no. Human beings will never ever stop fighting. We should not dream. This is how it was from the dawn of civilization, and this is how it is always going to be. So what do I do in that situation? Well, it's a simple thing. You just make sure that you don't go and attack anybody. Boss. Because what we are doing then, when we do such a thing, we are perpetuating the cycle of violence. We are contributing to that perpetual cycle of violence. So we should not be attacking anybody. That doesn't mean to say if somebody attacks you, you just stand up there and say, okay, what to do, you know, I am a helpless person and you came and attacked me, you know. No. And so you'll see in all our Shastras, all the forms of Bhagavan, all the forms of the Lord, they have weapons in their hand. But they don't want to attack anybody. But if they are attacked, well, yeah. Well, you better watch out. And we'll see a lot of that in this Devi Mahatmyam also. Right. So this king, Suratha, he went there and he attacked the neighboring kingdom. And then the nature of Prakriti also has to be, you will see it inside of there. What is the nature of Prakriti? In Mahabharata, the Pandavas had only 7 Akshauhinis and the Kauravas had 11 Akshauhinis, divisions of the army, right? So the ratio of the army size was 7 to 11, right? And still the Kauravas lost, even though they had a bigger size of army, right? 11 to 7, bigger they had. Here also, this king Suratha had a bigger army, same thing now. And he also went and attacked and they lost. So that tells a very important lesson about life also. Numbers really do not count, isn't it? Many times in history, we have seen numbers do not count. That is why they say you have to use brain and not brawn. So he lost and he retreated. Luckily, they were not able to capture him and he retreated to his kingdom. And the other side, the smaller army, well, they got confidence. We were able to defeat this king, you know, with his bigger army and everything. So they got confidence. So in that confidence, now they started building a bigger and bigger army. And they came here and they attacked this fellow. And what happened when they attacked? This fellow had a mutiny from within. So now it was double trouble. Already somebody from outside attacked. And now he had a mutiny from within. And that is that verse we just chanted. Amatyaihi balibhihi dushtaihi durbalasya duratmabihi. His own ministers, Amatyaihi, by his own ministers, he had a mutiny. Amatya's minister. His own ministers turned on him and they sold out to the enemy. Does this thing sound familiar? This sounds very familiar, isn't it? Now, see, since when this is going on? Kosho balam cha apahritam tatrapi swapure tataha mrigaya vyajena hrita swamya sa bhupatihi ekaki hayamaruhya jagama gahanam vanam. He on pretext now, because he realized that inside there is a mutiny. On pretext, he jumped on a horse and he said, I am going hunting alone. And he went into a deep forest and, of course, never returned. Well, actually, he made a good move. They say it is better to run today so that you may be able to fight tomorrow. He ran away. And into deep Gahanam Vanam, he says, deep forest, he went away. So, Suratha, who is a master of his Ratha, and Dasharatha, who is master of the 10 senses, and whichever great or noble or valorous kings or such people we see in history, is anybody shielded from defeat? Is anybody shielded from sorrow? Is anybody shielded from any of the vagaries of this Prakriti? Nobody. This first lesson we should all learn. Nobody is shielded from any of the vagaries of anything in this Prakriti, isn't it? It doesn't matter what great king. You may be the father of Bhagwan also, like Dasharath Maharaj. And what mastery of this body and whatever it is. But Prakriti has its own rules and own laws. And everybody have their fair share of the duality of Prakriti to experience. Correct or not? Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharishi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, or Puja Gurudev. And then I don't know why we go on thinking we should be different. No. For Prabhu, you should not give me this. You should not give me. Why would you want to punish me? People blame it on Bhagwan and all. But everybody in the Prakriti will have their fair share of all things like that. So he lost his kingdom and all that kind of thing. Now, to his own people sold out and to the other side. Right. Now, when he went to the forest, he saw there now an ashram of Rishi Medhas. Medhas Rishi had an ashram in the forest, and he went there and started hanging around that ashram, the king. Now, one day while he was hanging around the ashram, he saw another man walking. Then he went up and spoke with him, that other person. Now listen to the story of the other person. Just now I'll tell you his name also. It will come here. Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
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 Jai Ambe Jagadambe, Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Sochintayat Tatra,
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Mamatma Krishna Manasaha,
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
पूर्वे पालितं पूर्वम्
जयम्बे जगदम्बे
मया हीनं वरं हि तत्
जयम्बे जगदम्बे जयम्बे जगदम्बे
Jagadamba Mata ki jai. The other fellow doesn't come yet. This same Suratha is sitting in that ashram. This part of the story I left out. He's sitting in that ashram and he's thinking now, but I wonder how my people in that and my former servants and all the people who are there, who I left in the palace. He's in an ashram, eh? He's sitting in an ashram away from everything in the world. He doesn't know which is north, south, east, or west. And his mind is in the kingdom, in the palace. And he's thinking about every detail. Here in one of the lines, he says here, Na jane sa pradhano me shuro hasti sadamada. I don't even know. I'm so worried. I don't even know if my favorite elephant, if they're feeding him. This is a very amazing thing, you know. Puja Gurudev used to say also, when we come to the point in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2, where Arjuna wants to run away, right? Arjuna wants to run away and he needs to shout and tell. But if you run away and you go to the forest or you go to a cave or you go to the mountain or wherever you go, your mind is still going with you. How you run away from your mind? The mind is still going. So this is what happened to this king now. He ran away from the palace, but his mind came with him. And that mind now full of what? Attachment. Attachment to all the things. And he's thinking about his servants also. Mat bhrityahi tahi asad bhritya. And not only that, he's thinking that these wicked servants, those are the ones who sold me out. But even though they sold him out and he's thinking in his mind they are wicked for doing that and all his ministers, and he's still thinking only about them. This amazing mind. The mind that, in fact, people say that when we think anything bad about anybody, that time we remember them more. Correct or not? I want to free my mind from these people. Then I have to think good about them. If I think bad, my mind will go. So he's thinking and he's saying the words also. Asat vrittaihi dharmataha palyate nava. These wicked fellows, I wonder if now the new people have come and taken over this kingdom. I wonder if they are following dharma or they are not following dharma. All that he's thinking of. And what happened to my elephant? And what happened to all these servants who served me for so many years? And like that. On and on his mind is going. And he's sitting in an ashram. That is why Puja Gurudev used to always tell, you know, we should keep your mind where my hands are, I should keep my mind there. And in English, I always like that statement in English, you know, out of sight, right. Out of sight, out of mind, that we should practice that thing. Out of sight, out of mind. But we stay in one place and we rent our mind there. We rent out our mind for free also. Amazing thing. Anyway, so this is his condition now. And he's sitting there and thinking like that. And then now the next verse comes. Now he wanders outside the ashram and he sees another person there now. This other man is there. Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Tatsavi Prashamadhyashe
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Vaishyam ekam dadarshasah
Jai Ambe
Saprishtaste Kastuambho
Jayambe Jagadambe
Hetushchagamane Prakaha
Jayambe Jagadambe
Jayambe Jagadambe
Jayambe Jagadambe
Jayambe Jagadambe
Jayambe Jagadambe
जगदम्बा माता की जय। तत्र विप्राश्रमाभ्यासे वैश्यमेकं ददर्श सहा. He saw outside the ashram, he wandered a little bit and he saw there, who was there? A merchant, Vaishya. He saw a merchant standing outside. Of course, he didn't know. Sir, Prishtastena, Kastwambho, who are you, my dear man? He asked that man, who are you? And that Hetuscha Agamane Atrakaha means why? For what reason have you come here? What are you doing in this place? Sachokaha iva kasmatvam durmana iva lakshyase means you look so dejected and so downtrodden. What is the matter with you? Who are you? Where have you come from? Why are you here? And he went on asking like that. And now this fellow answered, very nice. Now, there's one more thing in this world, There's an English saying that says, birds of a feather flock together. Have you heard that? Right. I have seen this too many times. And let me tell you something, if you go, there's some natural attraction, some, what is that called? Swabhavik akarshan. That if you go with a lot of miseries in your heart, right? And you go into a crowd like this, you will gravitate to the person who have the same misery like you only. And if you go with joy and bubbly and all that kind of thing, you will gravitate to the person who is like that. So now this fellow started, this Vaishya, his name is not given there yet. His Vaishya started telling him his story. What is his story? Well, he tells now. Jagadambe ma Jagadambe
Jagadambe ma Jagadambe
Jagadambe ma Jagadambe
Jagadambe ma Jagadambe
Samadhi Vaishoham
Jagadambe ma Jagadambe
Utpanno dhaninam kule
Jagadambe ma Jagadambe
Jagadambe ma Jagadambe
Jagadambe ma Jagadambe.
He said, my friend, Samadhi Nama Vaishya Aham Utpanno Dhaninam Kule. And my name is Samadhi. Now see, what is this fellow's name? Suratha. What is this man's name? Samadhi. Samadhi, like the highest state a human being could ever reach. So the symbolism is already popping into the whole story that no matter what name I have, which family I have come from, and what great things I have achieved, and all that kind of thing. And he's a Vaishya, he achieved a lot of money he had amassed. Means a merchant. Lot of money and all he had amassed, right? And his name is, look what? Samadhi now. He said, I was born in a very rich family. So not only amassed a lot of money, I inherited also a lot of money. It is telling. But then, when you hear some nice stories start like that, there's always a but down the road, But what is that? Putra darehi nirastaha cha Dhanalobhat asadhubihi vihinascha dhanehi darehi putradaraya me dhanam. Means to say, my sons, my children, and my wife, they were very wicked people. And then what? They expropriated all my wealth and they kicked me out. So see his story now. And this fellow, somebody took his kingdom. And this one, if somebody took all his, well, both of them now get kicked out, and now they both of them end up by the same ashram now. I told you now, birds of a feather flock together, they're like gravitate now. Then see, this is a very amazing thing, because both of them became dispossessed. Both became dispossessed, and one became dispossessed by his own family, because his own son and wife and everybody is there, right? He became dispossessed by his own family. And the other one became dispossessed by his own servants and ministers and all the people around him. So it's not his family. So in other words, when you're thinking about becoming dispossessed in this world, it doesn't matter. You can become dispossessed by your own family also, isn't it? You can lose everything to your own family. And in this, people still have Shraddha in this world. After all that, people still have Shraddha in this sansar, yes. So the story starts like that. And one more thing about it, wherever there is money and power, the king lost power, the merchant lost money. See these two things? Wherever there is power and money do not stay in the same person's hand. Those things, they don't like to stay in the same person's hand. See, they stay in different people's, and they like to change hands all the time, like that. So it may stay one generation, it may stay two generations. When the next generation come, they squander everything. So one became dispossessed of power, and the other became dispossessed of money. And then the other thing is, we can become dispossessed by anybody. Anybody can take away whatever we have. Family members also. Remember Bhagwan Shankaracharya in Bhaja Govindam, I'm sure all of you know. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja
Govindam, Govindam,
Govindam, Bhaja Muramate.
Govindam, Bhajamuramate.
Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam,
Govindam, Bhajagovindam,
Govindam, Bhaj Muramate.
Govindam, Bhajamuramate.
Govindam, Bhaj Muramate.
Bhajamuramate.
Arthamanartham bhavaya nityam.
Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam,
Nasti tatha sukhalesha sarvam.
Govindam, Bhajamuramate.
Putradapi janabhajamiti.
Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam,
Putradapi janabhajamiti.
Govindam, Bhajamuramate.
Sarvamitra Shavitari.
Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam,
Sarvamitra
Govindam, Bhajamuramate.
Govindam Bhajamuramate.
Govindam, Bhajamuramate.
Kanaya Lal ki jai. He says that when a person, in fact, several places in the scriptures it tells like this, huh? Artham anartham bhavaya nityam. We should not only think that wealth is good, we also have to see the calamitous effect of wealth. Because in this world, oh, all the bad things which are going on in this world is all about wealth. Huh? We don't know what we are eating today, you know. We don't know what we are eating. And it's all driven by wealth. People want to make money. That is all. So, the calamitous effect of wealth, we have to see. He says, Putradapi, dhanabhajambiti means that when a person acquires wealth, he becomes scared of his own son also. Bhagavan Shankaracharya. Because he has to keep looking over his shoulder now. I wonder what this boy will do, you know. We don't know. So like that now, this other fellow is Samadhi. He is telling now his own sons and his own wife. And in places in the Katha here, it looks like more than one wife. Because some places plural is given. Kings used to have more than one wife and all. So they all ganged up on him and they expropriated his wealth and kicked him out. And now he ended up in the same ashram. So the two of them met now. And he also now is doing the same thing. What? He's sitting in the ashram and he's thinking, I wonder, you know, if my sons are ruling and my sons are following dharma, or if, you know, they're squandering the money or they're saving the money or what they're doing now. He's thinking about the money. And it's amazing thing when you're in an ashram and you have an opportunity to meditate now, Om Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, to meditate, and he sits here, but his mind is, yeah. So the Rishi, Medhas Rishi, there in the ashram, he had brahmacharis also, he was teaching. So they will sit there and they will meditate. And they will chant, no? Chidanandoham, Chidanandoham, Soham, Soham. And while these two are sitting, they will be thinking over there. So some people are saying Soham, Soham. And these two are thinking Koham, Koham. Am I really belong here, a person belonging here, or am I belonging there? Mind gone like anyway. So it is very interesting to note that one can very well be in one place, but mind can be somewhere else. I want to tell you one more thing. If you study this thing a little bit, right? And you ask, you know, in our Vedanta, we have 3 states. We call as Jagrada Avastha, we call as Swapna Avastha, and we call as Sushupti Avastha. With waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. You have learned that, right? And you ask human being, which state are we in the most of the time? In which state are we most of the time? Well, the answer for that will not be so nice, you know. Actually speaking, most of the time we are in dream state. Yeah. Because waking state, strictly speaking, is to be aware of what is in front of you. That thing is called waking state. To be aware of what is in front of me, that is called waking state. As soon as the mind wanders away somewhere else, the moment the mind wanders away somewhere else, we have gone into dream state. You know why? There's a very simple thing. Look here. In the night time, when you go to sleep like this and you rest your head there, and then some dream comes up and that big bad bull is chasing you. Right? So the bull chases and you run and you run and you run. And then after some time, you wake up. When you wake up, you realize that that whole thing was false. There's no bull, isn't it? It is false. Well, that was a concoction of the mind, correct? It was all a concoction of the mind. Okay. So if you take this thing as the definition of a dream, a concoction of the mind. Right? So now when you sit here and you think about your grandmother who is no more, if you go back to the past, you think about your grandmother who is no more. So what is the difference between that concoction and the bull concoction? Absolutely no difference. You cannot really point out any real significant difference. You are still imagining a time when you spent with your grandmother. So your mind has left the present and has gone into the past, and you are digging up something. And it is proven also by science today, modern science and all, that really, as your time passes, you add more narratives to whatever happened. You add many things which did not happen at all. So your mind is concocting so many things and stitching it together and coming up with a whole picture of what happened. And your mind has left the present. It has left what is real in front of me. And it has gone back to something which is unreal, imaginary and all that. So it is all dream only. And the same thing for the future. And the same thing for another place. It may be present, like right now I'm thinking about Australia. You cannot see Australia. You're imagining an Australia in your mind. So like one man is asking, which is further? The moon is further or your house is further? They were downtown and his house is outside the city. So he's asking, which is further? The moon is further or your house is further? He said, my house is further. He said, well, how can your house be further? He said, well, that's a very simple thing. I could see the moon. I can't see my house. What type of answer this fellow? My house has to be further. But this fellow dreams up some kind of... people are good at dreaming up. And see the logic also. He dreams up a logic, something which is totally illogical. But he dreams it up. But we are good at dreaming. My point is, human beings are good at dreaming. Whether it is in the present space and time, or means to say, no, I'm thinking about Australia in the present. But still, it has gone into something because I'm imagining, I can't see it. Like this fellow is imagining his house is further because he can't see it. So anyway, most of the time we are in this dreaming state only. That is the point, rather than waking state or deep sleep. Deep sleep, they say only for short periods in the night. Short, small periods, deep sleep. And the night also dream. Like that. So anyway, the scriptures have this type of teaching everywhere that human beings, they are never in the present, they are dreaming. So the two of them sitting in an ashram where meditation is going on, where Vedanta is going on, where scriptures are going on, but the two of them dreaming. He's dreaming of his past day and he's dreaming of that. And so the Devi Mahatmya is being introduced and giving a very strong message to all of us, which Puja Gurudev used to say in very simple language, but keep your mind where your hands are. You know what, the last clip I saw of Gurudev saying this thing, you know what he said? You will become a great Mahatma. This simple thing, we'll become a great Mahatma. Just by this one practice. But we don't do. That is why you have a nice opportunity to practice. When you come here, now your business and house and family and relatives and spouse and mouse and everything, right? You just out of sight. Yes. What an opportunity you get every time to practice this thing here. Now the two of them, these two fellows, so troubled in mind, so troubled in heart. Both of them, they thought, let us go and speak to this Medhas Rishi, because they're just staying there. They don't belong to the Vedanta class and all. They're just staying there in the ashram. And the rishi also, kind-hearted and all, they did not let them stay. So they thought, we'll go and we will speak to the rishi. Then Markandeya Rishi describes, this is now number 37. Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
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 Ambe Jagadambe,
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Tatastha Sahitaya
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Sammunam Samupasthito
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Samadhirama Vaishyo
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Sacha Parthiva Sattamaha
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Kritva tu Toyathanyayam
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Yatharham Tena Samvedam
Jai Ambe Jagadambe,
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jagadamba Mata ki jai. We have something in our Sanatana Dharma, and when we teach Vedanta courses and all that kind of thing, it's a very important step. We call it as Guru Upasadanam, or it is following the tradition of the Upanishads and all. Saguru Mevavi Gachit Samit Pani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam and all nice instructions are there in the scriptures that when we approach a guru, it should be done in the proper way, you don't just text the guru and say, sup there, guru, like that. Guru Upasadana is given. So here, the two of them approach, and the Markandeya Rishi takes time to describe how the two of them approach and all. The tradition has so many wonderful, just like in modern society here, in Canadian society, for instance, you have etiquette. Etiquette is, you don't just pop in somebody's house. You call before and you say, I'm coming over or something. You just don't drop in. People follow different rules, no? Well, in the same way, in the tradition, there are so many wonderful little things that we have to do. So the both of them went there, following the traditional way of approaching a teacher, approaching a rishi, and I don't know how you say it wherever you come from, but in Trinidad we say, you don't go with your hand swinging. What that means to say, and that is the very colloquial way to say Samit Panihi. The Upanishad says Samit Panihi means you're supposed to take something for the Guru's fire and all that, right? Because he's doing Havan and whatever. So you're supposed to take something. So because the people who came to this part of the world did not know Sanskrit and Upanishad, and they could not say Samit Pani, Shrotriyam, Brahmanishtam, all they said, don't go with your hand swinging. Your hand should be carrying something like that. Yeah. So I'm sure in all the different countries it would have evolved into different things, but this is a typical thing in Trinidad. So here both of them approach properly, and when they did the pranam, and it requires all that. Can we come in, Guruji, and all like that? Huh? Oh sage, can we? So the Rishi describes just like no. They put questions to the Rishi that look and see both of them. There's another thing. Both of them, they know that they are in an ashram, but their mind is going over there. They know that. So that is exactly the question they put to the Rishi. In other words, they resigned to their helplessness. Helplessness means what? We are here, but helplessly our mind is going there. And many a person resigns to helplessness before his own mind. That is a very frequent thing. Okay, so that is why actually, and there's no problem with that also in our tradition. See, if we say Arjuna is telling Bhagwan Shri Krishna, for instance, this mind is wild, Prabhu, this mind just goes here, goes there, goes everywhere. So how to control his mind? He's asking. Vayorevasu dushkaram is very difficult to control his mind. So Bhagwan tells his technique. What is that? If you're studying Vedanta, his technique is Vairagyena cha grihyate. By Vairagya, detachment, we control this mind. So we say, oh, but this Vairagya thing is real difficult, detachment, dispassion and all, how to detach and have dispassion and all that. So we say, no, there's another path for you. If you think Vairagya is too difficult, there's another path for you. What is the other path? The other path is you develop love for Bhagwan. Forget about detachment and all. Develop bhakti. Devotion for the Lord. One who has strong devotion for the Lord. Deep, nirbhar bhakti, it is called in total, full, complete bhakti for the Lord. You don't think about detachment and all this. Forget it. Because of another rule in the universe. What is the rule in the universe? The rule is this thing. Whatever you love, your mind will gravitate there only. Correct or not? So if you learn to love Bhagwan, the mind will naturally gravitate toward Bhagwan. You don't have to think anything about this passion and all that kind of thing. So there is a path for everybody. The one who wants to sit there and control his mind, develop vairagya, detachment and all that sort of thing, and keep the mind at home, at peace. Or the one who said, no, I did all this dispassion and keeping mind inside and all that is too much for me, So I'll develop bhakti, love for Bhagwan, love for the Lord. So the both of them went there now to tell, and now the Rishi starts telling the story of the Devi, start telling the story of Jagadamba Mata. That now you listen to this story, because by Shravan, and I'll tell you now, this is the Puranic approach is like this. What is the Puranic approach? See what happened to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj did something wrong, and then the Rishis, Samika Rishi's son gave him a shrap, right? And the shrap was, he will die in 7 days by the bite of Takshaka, the great serpent. Takshaka will bite him and he will die. 7 days. So Parikshit Maharaj did the correct thing. What is that? He quickly renounced this whole kingdom and everything and took off and went and met the Shukadev. Right? And said, oh, sage, please tell me the Bhagavatam so that in these 7 days I will get mukti. And then if Takshaka bites me, then let it be. So now please see this. He was not going to Shukadev. He had never been to Shukadev before. And he goes and he requests from the sage to teach him this Bhagavad Puran. Tell him Bhagavad Puran. And the idea, if you just see the drama of that story is, he must just be a Shrota, because you cannot learn a Puran in 7 days. How you learn the whole Puran in 7 days? So what he is, just a Shrota first. Second, only 7 days. It's not you listen your whole lifetime. Only in 7 days. So Bhagavad Puran guarantees mukti by just listening for 7 days. Just by being a Shrota for 7 days, Bhagavad Puran guarantees mukti. So now, what the Medhas Rishi is telling the two of them, now you sit here and now you listen to the glories of the Devi. Listen to the glories of Jagadamba Mata. And after listening to the glories of Devi, all your worries and all your pain and all your sorrow and all things will go away. This is the power of Shravanam. That is why, whether it is Bhakti Marg or Gyan Marg, Shravanam is the first and foremost step. Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam in Gyan Marg. And here, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho, Archanam, Padyam, Archanam, Vandhanam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, all this starts with Shravanam also. On this side, both sides is Shravanam. So the Purana is designed like this. This is why Puranas are there, to go on doing Shravan. Listen, and if you listen properly, the Purana itself guarantees in 7 days mukti will be there. So now Medhas Rishi is going to relate all the stories of the Devi to these two for all of their problems. And their wayward mind, and attached mind, and paining mind, and sorrowful mind, and like that, indisciplined mind. Like, okay, but Medhas Rishi will do that tomorrow. We'll see. They ask questions, and Medhas Rishi now will tell about, we'll start from there tomorrow. He will start telling about the Devi. And what is very interesting, and this you have to know, he starts telling about the Devi from a highly philosophical standpoint. Not just the forms of the Devi with so many arms and so many heads and tiger and all, and not that. He'll tell about who exactly is this Devi from a philosophical standpoint, from the standpoint of Brahman, like that. So tomorrow will be a philosophical beginning. Then, of course, he'll get into the story of Shumba, Nishumba, and all of the, Mahishasura and all that. That later on down the week. Okay. All right. We'll see that. So now we have Arati. Arti. Durga Arti. I just had it. I don't know where it went away. I got it. Jai Ambe Gauri, Maya Jai Shama Gauri, तुमको निस दिन ध्यावत, तुमको निस दिन ध्यावत, हरि ब्रह्मा शिवरी ओम जय मांग सिंदूर विराजत, की को मृग मद को मैया की को मृग मद को, उज्ज्वल से दो नैना, उज्ज्वल से दो नैना, चंद्रवदननी को ओम जय अम्बे गौरी, कनक महान करे
राजे
रक्त पुष्पगल माला
रक्त पुष्पगल माला
पर साजे
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
हरि वाहन राजत खरग खपर धारी मैया
करग खपरदारी
सुर नर मुनि जन सेवत
सुर नर मुनि जन सेवक
के दुख हारी
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
कानन कुंडल शोभित नासाग्रे मोती मैया
सागे मोती
चंद्र दिवाकर
कोटिक चंद्र दिवाकर
समराजत ज्योति
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
शुंभनि शुंभ विदार महिषासुर घाती मैया
महिषासुर घाती
धूम्र विलोचन नैना
धूम्र विलोचन नैना
निशितिन मदमाती
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
चंद मुंड संहारे शोणित बीज हरे
मैया शोणित बीज हरे
मधु के अभ तुम्हारे
मधु के तब मारे
दुर्भयहीन करो
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
ब्रह्माणी रुद्राणी तुम कमला रानी
मैया तुम कमला रानी
आगम निगम पठानी
आगम निगम बखानी
तुम शिव पटरानी
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
जो सत योगिनी मंगल रावत नृत्य कर भैरो भाजत ताल मृदंगा
नाचत ताल मृदंगा
अरुबाजत डमरू
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
तुम ही जग की माता तुम ही हो बरता
मैया तुम ही हो भरता
भक्तन की दुख हरता
भक्तन की दुख हरता
सुख संपत्ति करता
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
चार अति शोभित वर मुद्राधारी मैया
सारी
मनवांचित फल पावत
मनवांचित फल पावत
सेवत नर नारी
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
कंचन थार विराजत अगर कपूर बाती
मैया घर कपूर बाती
श्रीमान के तुम्हें राजत
श्रीमान जी तुम्हें राजत
कोटि रतन ज्योति
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
श्री अम्ब जी की आरती जो कोई नर गावे
मैया जो कोई नर गावे
कहत शिवानंद स्वामी
कहत शिवानंद स्वामी
सुख संपत्ति पावे
ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
जय अम्बे गौरी मैया जय श्यामा
गौरी सदन व्यावत तुमको सदन व्यावत हरि ब्रह्मा शिवरी ओम जय अम्बे गौरी
ओ
ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी।
मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वजः मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षं मंगलायतनो हरि। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। बोले जगदम्बा माता की जय। श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव।